On her birthday, Rachel sat by the window of a warm little restaurant named White Lily. Outside, summer rain tapped on the glass. Inside, it smelled like fried onions, fresh bread, and hope mixed with fear. She had invited only her husband Mark and his mother. She paid for the dinner, ordered a special cake, and dressed up, hoping this night could fix her broken family. At 33, she felt tired, but still wished for change. Her son Logan sat beside her, holding a small box. He had made a gift with love, but she didn't know what storm was about to come. Mark showed up late, wearing a wrinkled shirt and holding a beer can. His mother, Barbara, walked in right behind him, wrapped in her usual shawl and wearing a look of disapproval. Mark barely looked at Rachel as he said, "Happy birthday, Rach." His mother commented rudely on the restaurant, but added, "At least the food is free." Logan ran up with a proud smile, holding his handmade gift. Inside the box was a plastic heart with the words, "To Mom," shaped in clay. Rachel hugged him tightly. Her son was the only bright part of her life. Before she could thank Logan again, Mark pushed the boy aside and said, "Get lost, you little pest. Who needs you here?" Logan's smile faded. His small hands shook as he dropped the box. Rachel stood up, heart pounding. She stared at her husband. "That's your son," she said. Mark shouted, loud enough for everyone to hear, "My mother comes first, then your bastard son." The room fell silent. Waiters, musicians, and guests all froze. Rachel's eyes burned. Something inside her woke up. Without thinking, she stormed toward Mark and grabbed his jacket tightly, heart beating like a drum. With a strong move, Rachel smashed Mark's face into the big holiday salad at the center of the table. The mayonnaise flew up. "Here's your Olivier, Marky, with carrots, respectfully," she said, with a cold smile. Barbara screamed, "That's my son. How dare you?" But Rachel turned to her calmly. "Do you also think Logan is not your grandson? That I found him somewhere?" Her mother-in-law froze. Mark lifted his face from the salad, dripping and furious. He shouted, "You ruined my clothes! You—" Then he raised his hand to strike her. Rachel shut her eyes, bracing for pain. 2 large security guards rushed in and grabbed Mark's arms before he could do anything. "Calm down, sir," one of them said firmly. Mark shouted and kicked, leaving mayonnaise stains all over the floor. "This is my celebration too. I came here myself." He screamed like a wild animal. The guard laughed. Season premiere, man in a salad. Rachel nearly laughed too. The manager called the police. The officers came quickly. Mark was loud and rude, so they took him without delay. Barbara ran between tables, crying and acting shocked, but no one paid attention to her. As Mark was dragged away, Barbara shouted, "You're sending my son to jail. For what? He did nothing." Rachel replied, "First jail, then the circus." He fits both. Logan sat quietly on a waiter's lap, holding his little gift. His eyes were wide, not with tears, but with confusion. When things calmed down, Rachel sat back at the table and sipped her champagne. Her mother-in-law stood nearby, filled with anger. "You humiliated my son, and me," she shouted. Rachel didn't flinch. "No, he humiliated himself. I just helped him find the spotlight. My son doesn't need to grow up in fear." Rachel stood up, her voice strong. "Your son called Logan a bastard. He slammed doors and cursed. I'm done pretending. We don't need that in our home." Barbara shook with rage. "You're breaking up the family. I'll file a complaint." Rachel smiled. "Complain to anyone. TV shows, the mayor, even the salad gods. But your son isn't welcome anymore, and if he tries to come back, I'll call the police." Barbara looked shocked. She didn't expect this much courage from Rachel. She turned and left the restaurant without another word. For the first time, Rachel felt free, truly free. Music started again. The guests began to eat and drink. A group of women surrounded Rachel with kind smiles. Someone opened more champagne. Logan returned to her, holding a plate. "Mom, I tried the cake. Want some?" he asked sweetly. Rachel hugged him, tears in her eyes. "Thank you, my love. Everything's going to be okay now." Logan looked up. "What about Dad?" he asked. Rachel took a breath. "He's gone. Not because of you or me. Some people just forget how to love, and we deserve love." Logan nodded slowly, his little fingers clutching hers like a lifeline. "Will he come back?" Logan whispered. Rachel smiled gently. "Maybe, but only with flowers and a sorry letter. Or he'll get another serving of salad on his head." Logan giggled. One of the women raised her glass and shouted, "To strong women, to new lives." Rachel laughed, finally letting go of the pain. The rest of the night passed with smiles, music, and joy. No one mentioned Mark again. The evening, once filled with tension, turned into a celebration of freedom. Rachel realized she didn't need to beg for respect. She only needed her son, her strength, and her peace. That night, Rachel and Logan walked home under the stars. Their steps felt lighter. Meanwhile, Mark sat in a jail cell, covered in dried salad. Officers mocked him, calling him Mr. Olivier. One joked about making a comedy show with Mark as the star. Mark sat silently, thinking of nothing funny. At home, Rachel tucked Logan into bed. She looked at the small green heart on the shelf. Crooked and handmade, it was the most beautiful gift she had ever received. She kissed her son's forehead and whispered, "We're safe now. Just you and me, and that's enough." Months later, Rachel filed for divorce. The court gave her custody and the apartment. She sold it and bought a smaller place for her and Logan. It wasn't big, but it was warm. She joined a yoga class and took Logan to therapy. They began healing. She no longer jumped when someone slammed a door. The fear faded little by little. Logan started to smile more, talk more, and sleep through the night. Their new home was filled with laughter, books, and quiet breakfasts. Mark never came back. He never even called. Rachel had finally closed that painful chapter. Rachel now lived with pride. She smiled when she passed the White Lily restaurant. It wasn't just where her birthday had turned upside down. It was where her life began again. She had walked through fire and come out shining. Logan grew stronger too. He brought home better grades, drew bright pictures, and sang silly songs. They made popcorn on weekends and danced in the kitchen. The past no longer held them. Rachel never forgot what she had survived, but she used it to build something better. Her new life wasn't perfect, but it was real, and it was hers. She still kept the little green heart on a shelf in the living room. Every time she looked at it, she remembered her strength. Not because she threw a man into a salad, but because she chose herself and her son over pain. She gave up fear for freedom, silence for laughter. The heart, uneven and lopsided, was a sign that love didn't need to be perfect. It just needed to be true. Rachel didn't regret anything. She gained her son's trust, her peace, and her life back. That was more than enough. She had become someone strong, finally fully herself.